57th lesson. A touch of flu.
David woke up with a headache and a sore throat.
He called Joan and told her he felt ill.
She took his temperature and saw it was 102 degrees, so she called the doctor.
David was sleeping when the doctor arrived.
Hello. What's the matter with you?
He felt David's forehead and listened to his chest.
Then he said, It's a touch of flu, nothing serious. Take these tablets and keep warm. You'll soon be on your feet.
That doctor put me on my feet very quickly.
Oh? How did he do that?
I had to sell my car to pay the bill.
On the face, you have the eyes, the nose, and the mouth.
My head aches and my hands are cold. I think I have a touch of flu or a cold.
'58th lesson. Your body.
There are many words in English which include parts of the body.
For instance, when I have the flu, I keep a supply of paper handkerchiefs.
You look very busy. Can I give you a hand?
Mr. Marsden is head of the board of directors.
He is too nosy. He's interested in anything that doesn't concern him.
Is trousers singular or plural?
Please, sir, singular at the top and plural at the bottom.
That was a cheeky answer.
The two runners were very close. They were almost neck and neck.
When you are driving, always keep the spare wheel handy.
And of course, when you're drinking your beer, you can say, chin chin.
Other parts of the body are the arms, the elbows, and the fingers.
Lower, we have the legs, the knees, the feet, and the toes.
'59th lesson.
Men speak of women as the fair sex, or the gentle sex, or the weaker sex.
Women rarely speak of men as the stronger sex.
Some men think they are considered as the paying sex.
My wife dreams every night that she's married to a millionaire.
You're lucky. Mine dreams she's married to a millionaire in the daytime.
Nature has given us ears which are always open, and a mouth which it is often better to keep shut.
Two proud parents were showing their son his new brother.
The boy looked at the baby for a minute and then started crying.
The parents smiled. What's the matter? They asked.
It's got no hair or teeth,
The child sobbed.
It's not fair. It's an old baby.
We do not ask you to learn the irregular verbs in 2 or 3 days.
but only to repeat them when we meet them.
'60th lesson. To get.
Let's look at some expressions with the verb to get.
These expressions are very common, and you already know a few.
Here are some more. Try and learn them.
He gets up at 7:30 every morning.
The train gets in at 11:30.
It took him a long time to get over his illness.
Let's go home. It's getting dark.
Speak louder. She's getting very deaf.
These records are cheaper than those, but they are still quite expensive.
Please go and get me a paper. I'm too busy to go myself.
The burglar got into the house through a small window.
Take a number 37 bus and get off at Charing Cross.
Everyone was trying to get on the bus at once.
What's the matter?
I've got a headache, a toothache, a sore throat and a cold, and nobody asks me how I feel.
'61st lesson. Holidays.
I got these brochures yesterday from the travel agents.
Oh, good. Let's have a look at them.
I like the ones about Spain. Let's go to Spain this year.
But neither you nor I speak Spanish.
It doesn't matter. In these towns, everybody speaks English.
Well, we can either go to Spain or to Scotland.
Scotland? But it's cold in Scotland, and I want some sun.
It's not too cold, and it's very beautiful. And you don't have to take a plane. I don't like flying, and neither do you.
But Spanish is easier to understand than the English they speak in Scotland.
Nonsense. Anyway, we might see the Loch Ness Monster.
It doesn't exist.
How do you know?
It's either a myth or an invention to attract tourists.
Well, we must decide. Either Spain or Scotland.
'62nd lesson. Scotland.
Scotland is half as big as England, but the population is much smaller.
There are two main regions. In the north, the Highlands, which are wild and beautiful. And in the south, the lowlands, which are more agricultural.
Although Edinburgh is the capital, Glasgow is the main industrial centre.
Scotland was separated from England by a wall built by the Roman Emperor Hadrian.
Parts of this wall still exist today.
Some older people still speak Gaelic, but most Scots speak English.
Scottish towns look very different from English ones.
In English towns, the houses are mainly built of red brick, whereas in Scotland, the houses are mainly of grey slate.
Britain's highest mountain, Ben Nevis, is in Scotland.
The Scots have their own religion, called Presbyterianism, and their own laws.
So, although Scotland is part of Great Britain, it has never been united with England in the same way as Wales.
'63rd lesson. Revision and notes. No recording for this lesson.
'64th lesson.
When France and England decided to build a tunnel under the Channel, they asked for tenders.
The firm with the lowest offer was accepted. Astonished by the low price, They asked the director,
"How are you going to do it for so little money?"
It's easy, the engineer said. I will start digging on the English side, and my son will start digging on the French side, and we'll meet in the middle.
But that's ridiculous. You'll be miles apart. What will happen if you don't meet?
In that case, the engineer said calmly, you will have 2 tunnels for the price of 1.
A tourist in Cairo saw 2 skulls in a shop, a large one and a small one.
What are those? He asked.
The big one is the skull of Queen Cleopatra, was the reply.
Really? Said the amazed tourist. And the little one?
That is the skull of Cleopatra when she was a young girl, answered the shopkeeper.
Don't forget to repeat the irregular verbs.
65th lesson. Public transport.
David Wilson travels to work every morning by tube.
The tube, or the underground, is something like the metro in Paris.
But unlike the metro, it is rather old-fashioned and quite expensive.
You pay according to the distance you want to travel.
You can buy a season ticket, which allows you to travel for a certain period at a lower price.
Although most of the tube is automatic, there are still employees who check your ticket at the exit.
So you must keep your ticket until you finish your journey.
You can also travel by bus, which is slower but gives you a better view.
Most buses are double-deckers, and you're allowed to smoke upstairs.
On these buses, there is a driver and a conductor who collects your fares.
Finally, there are the famous London taxis, or hackney cabs.
These large, black, diesel-engined vehicles are a familiar sight in the capital.
If the cab is free, you will see a little "For Hire" sign in the front.
Of course, the best way to see the city is on foot, but you need a rest from time to time.
66th lesson.
Learn this page as usual, then answer the questions with the help of the preceding lessons.
What is the popular name for the underground?
Where else can you find an underground railway system? What is it called?
Is the tube expensive? Why is it dearer than the Parisian metro?
Why must you keep your ticket until you reach the exit?
What are London buses called? Can you smoke on a London bus? Where?
Who collects the fares? Who drives the bus?
What are hackney cabs? What colour are they?
How do you know if a cab is free?
Which is the best way to travel around London?
Fares, please.
Hyde Park, please.
That's 12 pence.
I don't know London. Will you tell me where I must get off?
Of course. Oh, if you want to smoke, you must go upstairs.